Hello, folks. Welcome to today's Between Friends episode. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm Eileen Roche, founder of Designs and Machine Embroidery. And today we're going to talk about organizing your designs or trying to, get a handle on them so you can stop the search. But it's also the March Small Town Charm Reveal. Oh my, I'm so excited to show you what I've been working on. And so if you'll type in, let us know where you are watching from. Hello, Alicia. Nice to have you here from Northwest Arkansas. I'm sure you had terrible weather last week. And Retha Ranke, how are you feeling? I hope you're doing better. And Marilyn from Arizona. We have lots to talk about today. I don't know that I'm going to get all the comments. We've had some change in our platform. So if I don't give you a shout out, that I apologize. And hi, Teresa, my other Jersey girl, Teresa Stagliano. Love that last name. Great name. So, I know you've been working on your doors and I've been finding some. So I thought I would share some of those first before we talk about how to organize our designs. So as you know, this was January's quilt shop. That was a free download, still is a free download. If you'd like to join us now, it's never too late to get started. It comes in two sizes, a 7x12 and a 5x7. And then in February, we did the Sweet Shop. It says, this is the 5x7, and it's 2 stories with a third hooping for the awning. And the 7x12 is a single story bake shop with a separate hooping for the awning. But what have you been working on? So here's Alex Wood's quilt shop. Alex said she just got it done, and so she was thrilled to get that posted on Facebook. Really fun fabric she chose. She ran her awning fabric stripe horizontally instead of vertically. Very interesting. I like that touch. And her brick fabric sure looks like that kind of modern, white brick with the dark mortar. And then Beach Mama Flowers, she posted that she finally got caught up. So this is her quilt shop, the January free design. And she chose some really fun colors. I wonder where Beach Mama lives. Where is her beach, right? And then she also got her Sweet Tooth, her Sweet Shop bakery done. So you'll notice that she renamed it. She called it Deb's Sweet Tooth. Really, but that's super fun. And she used a striped fabric for her sidewalk that runs horizontally while her awning fabric goes in a vertical fashion. Very cute. Very, very cute. But look what Carol Johnston did. This is last year's free designs. Now that was our dime doors. That was a free design every month. Again, the last Thursday of the month. And Carol went ahead and stitched all 12 months and then added a label with the month of the door right below it. So that really gave you kind of a larger canvas. So I'll flip back one slide so you can see. I don't know the dimensions of this quilt. I imagine the width is probably about 26 inches wide, maybe 30 inches wide, and the length, I would guess, is maybe 52 inches. But isn't that fun? What a wonderful way to use those doors. And Vicki Steve, you've said, Carol Johnston, that is fantastic. I know, I agree. She did a really great job. Judy Warren, aloha, friend. And she says, fantastic, yes. And Judy, I love that label idea. Let's not say easy, but what a great solution to make a bigger quilt when, you're just working with 6x10 blocks. It really fills in some space. And again, identifies each one so that, what it was when you look back over time. Yes, absolutely. Love that. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what else we found out there. Well, my friend Vonnie Davison, she has, I believe it's a nephew who has his a rolling in the dough store, right? It's a real bake shop. So this is a nod to him. She created this with his logo, the rolling in the dough. How fun. Wouldn't that be a fun shop to visit? Casino cakes, fresh buns, king cake. So I'm wondering if they're in Louisiana, down there by Mardi Gras. All those terms seem to designate that area of the country. Just beautiful job, Vonnie. Very, very nice. And now Judy Whitaker, She was the first person that I found doing a very interesting thing on her. She uses the 7x12 embroidery design. So that is the Sweet Shop from February. And she fussy cut her fabric so that she has a baker in the door, which I love. She also added a potted plant and a seagull on the sidewalk there, and she called it Cape Cakes. But when you take a closer look, there's our fussy cut, the baker. Isn't that great? The scale is just perfect. Maybe she drew it, but I'm guessing it's fabric that she purchased. Just beautiful. But her second story has an attic, and it's full of busy mice who are happily enjoying all those baked treats, right? And they're kind of fat. I think I have a close-up. Look how fat they are. They're nice little fat mice. Judy, great job. Really, really lovely. Oh, and look who's joined us. Sue Brown. Hi, Sue. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. I know all your pals are here. All your OML gang are here to see the March door. So I'll never get over that door term, right? It's the small town charm. Sorry. Yeah, and Kristen Swanson, you think the attic is a great idea. It is. Then the mice. Everybody loves the mice. I know. They're so cute. They really are. Super fun. They're the kind of mice I wouldn't mind having in my in my house, right? They're kind of the only kind that I wouldn't mind having in my house. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about my secret, the way I keep a handle on my embroidery stash, and that's with Perfect Stitch Viewer. So Perfect Stitch Viewer will allow any embroidery design to turn into an image. And it is just so helpful to have that software installed on your computer. And it works in the background. It's completely seamless. It's behind the scenes. So once you install it, you actually never open it again. It just works in the background. It's kind of like having snow tires on your car, right? You don't know they're there. Once you install them, you don't know they're on there. You just drive as normal in the winter. And it's just ideal. So why don't we go over to software? Let's see if I can make this switch elegantly. Probably not. So let me show you what comes with the designs when you install it. So often you would have your embroidery designs would look like this. They'd be in a list, and they possibly would just, maybe if you have the details selected, you would see the date, the type of embroidery design, and the size, right? You would get in the details pane over here, you would get more information. So you would find the number of stitches, the colors, the size, where it's stored, and the date that the design was created. Of course, the name also. That's really handy. But when you are in your Explorer on your computer and you click on large icon or extra large, then you really get to see all of your embroidery designs, making it so easy to locate your embroidery designs. Because, you know, often now these designs, these are the free designs that come with your purchase of Perfect Stitch Viewer. And they are titled pretty, you know, the nomenclature is pretty easy to understand, right? Angel A, Angel B, then Bird A, Bird B, Butterfly, Butterfly. So that's not that hard to determine what they are when you see them in the list. But often embroidery designs are just numbers. They're just digits. And so you have no idea what's behind them. So that's why this Perfect Stitch Viewer is so easy to use. And let's see, Lynn, you say that adding Perfect Stitch Viewer was the best thing that you ever added to your computer. I agree. I mean, I don't know what would we do without it, right? So I want to talk to you a little bit about the install process so that you understand how this happens. So when you purchase Perfect Stitch Viewer, it's a download, and when you download it, you are actually downloading Embroidery Toolshed. Embroidery Toolshed houses all of our software programs. So as you can see on that image, we have ETS at the top, that little logo, and then all those other logos underneath are the individual software programs that we sell here at Dime. And so all of your software will load into that. This website is inspiredbydime.com, and it's under, this page is under the software software tab. So, which I can show you right up here. So here is the page, and then you would go to support and download and install to find all of these instructions. This is a video that you can play that will show you all the steps. Now, the steps will, this video has a lot of text on it, so slow it down as you watch it so you can really understand the process. But underneath this video here, as you scroll down the page, you'll notice that everything that's in the video is also spelled out right here. Now, the steps that are illustrated here are for Perfect Embroidery Pro. So this is after you install Embroidery Toolshed and you want to activate the software that you just purchased. Instead of clicking here next to Perfect Embroidery Pro, you would scroll down this menu until you found Perfect Stitch Viewer and click on that, and then do all of these steps: activate, buy now, that kind of thing. And then you fill out the registration page, and then you have to restart the program, and that's how it installs. It is so easy to use. I know that some people get confused about Embroidery Toolshed because they'll say, well, I bought Perfect Stitch Viewer and I can't find it, but now I have Embroidery Toolshed. So Embroidery Toolshed is like the shed that all the tools go into. And one of those tools is Perfect Stitch Viewer. But because you have installed Perfect Stitch Viewer, you're actually, you know, when you purchase Perfect Stitch Viewer and you do the installation process through Embroidery Toolshed, you're actually getting two softwares, right, for the price of one. And Embroidery Toolshed is a free program, but it has some interesting features. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on my hard drive here. So I have Embroidery Toolshed installed, and right now it's the only software that I have open on, activated on my program. So I'm going to open a design, and I'll go right into that angel design. Now, if you are on this screen and you're wondering why I can't see those little images, that's because I need to click on the view menu and click large icon. Now, I can see all of my embroidery designs. I don't have to know the digit or the name. It's all visible. So if you are in your menus and you just see this, don't fret, nothing's broken. Just go to that little tab and select the view menu. And then let's go ahead and open up a design. So I just left click on the design, and you'll notice there's a check mark in the little box, and then I click open. And it appears on my screen. Now, I can select the embroidery design and size it by, grabbing that handle, left clicking and dragging, or I know I want this to be 4 inches because I wanted to fill a block that's 4 inches. In the properties box, I can just put that digit 4 and click apply. If you would prefer to use metric, you just hover the cursor over the ruler at the top of the bar and right click, and you will select metric. And now all of your measurements are metric. And you can see this is not going to fit in my 4x4 hoop because it's a little bit bigger than 100 millimeters. So I would just shrink that down to 99 millimeters. And now I know it'll fit. What else can I do? I can rotate this design and any which way I want. I could, and if I make a mistake, I can undo, just undo as far back as you'd like until you are at your original place. I can save this design in a multitude of formats. So all popular machine embroidery formats are available in a save as feature. So that means you can convert any design that you want into another format. So that's quite handy, right? I really like that because that's often what we do. So I'll just cancel out of there. And now what if I want to have, more than one bird on the screen? Well, I can open another design, and we'll select this one. And then I can, with it selected, I can go to copy right here in the toolbar, or on the keyboard, I could do Control-C and go back to my original bird and do Control-V for paste, or I could use this tool right here, which is paste. And now I have, my two birds, right? And I can size them and rotate them. And maybe this one I want to kind of have him positioned in a different fashion. And then if I want to save this as one large design that I'll do in a much bigger hoop, I can do that. So we want to print a template. Well, this is the program for that. So we will just go to File, Print. But before you print, you can set how you want it to print. So we'll go to Print Preview. And right now, I have it to set in actual size with a crosshair and all of my color sequence on one page. Now, if my design is much larger and there's no room for that color sequence, well, I can put a check marks in the, and take the check mark out of in one page and click OK. And now you'll notice that's going to give me the one sheet will be the template and the second sheet will be the color sequence. And if there's more than will fit on one page, it'll be a 3-page document. At this point, you go to File, Print. So that is so handy. It's going to size and copy and paste. And also you can change embroidery thread formats, palettes here. So I have Madeira selected. I don't know why. And so I'll go to Exquisite 40, and now my that embroidery design will convert that color into the thread color that I want. I can even change my entire palette to it. Right now it's in Madeira, so I want it all to be an Exquisite 40. That's my brand that I use every day, and I say OK. And now all of these color chips down here are an Exquisite thread color. Perfect. And it does all of the thread libraries and palettes that you have. So let's see. Oh, Margaret, what a lovely comment. She said, Margaret Starr, you have the best variety of formats of any software in the market. Thank you for that kind comment. That's so nice, Margaret. I agree. Now, in some of our, in our full-blown digitizing software, we have some really fabulous software programs. So software formats, embroidery formats. But, I want to tell you that that Perfect Stitch Viewer will work with, it's a seamless program, right? It works in the back of your computer. So doesn't matter what embroidery software you have installed on your computer. Like if you have something from another company, oh, I feel bad for you, but no, I'm only kidding. But you can use Perfect Stitch Viewer. It works with all formats. It's in the background. It's just like snow tires. You can put them on any brand of car. They're just going to work in the background. So yes. And is anyone using Perfect Stitch Viewer on a Mac? So Judy Whitaker, she has that question. We've had some issues lately. We do have some workarounds. And can you see the pictures if they are in a zipped file? You cannot do that, unfortunately. You do have to unzip to see it. That's kind of a Windows thing, really. It's not really a dime thing. So I'm sorry about that. So it is. There are so many options for making embroidery easier. So if you don't have any more questions about Perfect Stitch Viewer, then we can move on to the March Small Town Charm reveal, right? Are we ready for that? Hi, Betty from Rolla, Missouri. Nice to have you here. All right, let me get my PowerPoint up here so I can show you the Small Town Charm. So I had a lot of fun with this, but truth be told, we had a lot of issues last week in Texas, right? About that weather. Last week I broadcasted from my home, And I was lucky to be able to do that. It was the first time that we were able to, that I had power all day. And let's see, can Tracy Powell, you want to resize fonts? You can resize an embroidery design so in embroidery toolshed. So if you have a text, a phrase that you have written, you most certainly can resize that. It will regenerate the stitches, taking out stitches when you make it tiny and adding stitches when you make it large. But you should know that text, is digitized at a specific size to look its best. So if you have a very large word phrase that you want to shrink down really small, even though the software is smart enough to do that, to pull out stitches, it will not redigitize the font so that like your A's don't have a lot of buildup where at the peak of a capital A, that kind of thing. So just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? Let's see. Amy Erickson, she says, to make the attic, is it best to use the 5x7 house? I know, I love the hidden attics too. That would be a fun thing, huh? Just hidden attics. Maybe we should talk about that. Judy Whitaker has been using the 7x12. And Judy, you're watching, I think. So if you are, would you confirm that in the comments? I'm pretty sure you've been using the 7x12. So yes, and Jackie Burke, the weather issues in Texas slowed down the shipping of orders. We literally were shut down for an entire week. And not only my company, but UPS did not have a brown truck in North Texas for an entire week. Either did United States Postal Service. So, it's just not us. It's everybody here. And so Judy Whitaker, she says, yes, she always uses the 7x12. And is the embroidery image maker the same as Perfect Viewer? I don't know embroidery image maker, if that's made from another company. I don't know anything about it. I only know Perfect Stitch Viewer. So sorry, can't help you there. Okay, yeah, Jackie, it is terrible. And we've had employees that have been without water and power and, auto troubles, all kinds of things. It's really been a disaster, as you hear, I mean, the president claimed this a disaster area, FEMA and all of that. So, but we've been blessed. We're here. Our lights are on, and so's our water running. Okay, let's take a look. So we did a quilt shop, our favorite, right? Come on. We are all embroiderers. We love to buy fabric and so forth. So I thought, well, let's start out 2021 with one of our very happy places. And, what quilt shop wouldn't benefit from a sweet shop right next door? And while we're at it, how about a ladies' dress shop? So that's where I went next. We have the So Chic dress shop and handbag. So it features a chandelier. It has 3 adorable handbags on a very pretty table with a scroll scallop trim. It has a sign, So Chic, and that dress is just adorable. And I'm going to take you into software in a little bit so that you can see the motif. The software, I used an embossed feature in Perfect Embroidery Pro to create it. That is just adorable. And the wallpaper, I thought, was a beautiful touch also. I'm loving the wallpaper. Okay. Now, I have to tell you, it was a tough week in Texas, and I think my colors of my town, of my shop, reflect that. So I'm hoping you do a better job than I did, because it's, it needs a little love, I think. It needs a little brightness. I did at least nail it with the light blue interior, but that dark gray, it's okay. All right. So in the 7x12, when you download the 7x12, you're going to get 2 embroidery designs, the awning, and it is the identical awning from January and February. So if you already have that stored somewhere, you're good to go. And then the dress shop is the second embroidery design, or really the first. So they go together like this, but they're separate hoopings and you don't stitch them together. So if you remember, we use I think I have an image of that coming up. Yeah, we use our quilt stand, right? Our quilt stand. And then I just oh, that fella came down. I just tie the ribbon, and the instructions for adding the ribbon during the creation, the embroidery design of the awning are included in the download. And I just literally tie that length of ribbon onto the arch. And if I was better prepared, I would have little lengths of ribbon on the back here of my quilt block that would slide over this post to hold this in place. But you know, this was just supposed to sit on the shelf, and you weren't supposed to know that it was falling off. So anyway, super cute, right? Joanne Banco, yeah, our friend Joanne Banco from Let's Go Sew, I think, is to help me. Joanne, please type that in the comments. She said, sewing is good therapy to recover from tough times. It sure is. It really is. I could tell you some stories about that. Anyway, so this is Jackie Burke, you used Velcro. I love it. That was a great idea. I thought of that also, but I figured, well, not everybody has Velcro, so I would go the ribbon route so that more people would, have it in their sewing room. But that is a very great solution. So yeah, the quilt block stand, this is what the 7x12 is used for, to adorn this stand. So let's take a look at the process. First thing we're going to do is hoop cutaway and place a layer of batting in the hoop. And you'll stitch color 1, and that's the left hooping that you see here. And see those little red notches, those little stitch lines? That's telling you where the seam line of the sidewalk will be. Now, truth be told, I also had a big machine issue last week, and in the middle of my design, I had a machine go down on me, so I had to switch to a multi-needle. Yeah, all right, Joanne, thank you. It is Let's Go Sew, which is what I thought it was. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, and Sharon Schroeder, you made a sleeve for the awning. Great, yep, that works too. That works too, I love that. Okay, and then after we lay down our building fabric, you will stitch color 2, and that's going to be the wood slats, the detail on the building. Also, we'll tack that down. And the next thing you will do is, these aren't in the right order, but anyway, so the image on the right shows you that you are laying down the cement sidewalk fabric just below the detail of the wood slats so that you capture the edge of the cement fabric in the stitching. And when you stitch that seam, and then you flip it open and stitch the sidewalk detail. Okay, after that, it's you will have an outline for the wallpaper, and you'll place your wallpaper fabric over that outline and then stitch the wallpaper. So today, in this lesson, we're reading our images from right to left and not left to right. Forgive me, sorry about that. Okay, here's a close-up of that wallpaper. I just love that pristine diamond design. And actually on my 5x7, I believe I stitched that in a gold, our King Star metallic gold, so that it would look like, gold foil. It was very pretty. I'll show you that. Okay, so then we're going to move on to some details. Like there's a lot of black that stitches the chandelier, the pedestal of the table, the pedestal of the dress form, and also the little knob at the top. So, and the door handles, that's kind of all in one. No, the door handles come in, well, I'm not sure. You'll know. Joanne Banco says, it helps to have a spare machine to fall back on if possible. It does. I can tell you that. If you really love to sew and embroider and you have the ability to have a second machine, it's a great idea because they occasionally go down. Okay, so once we stitch those details and we trim away the excess wallpaper fabric, we will then, here's a close-up. So you may not be able to see, but that tan handbag in the foreground is I stitched it in tan because it actually looks like a basket weave. Wait till you see when you stitch it out. It is absolutely beautiful. Oh, Joanne, that's so nice. She said, I come up with beautiful fill shapes. Yeah, I love to draw these little things. It's fun. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, and then the dress. So take a look at the dress, that embellishment on there and that texture that's added. It really looks like a damask dress, don't you think? Really fun. So easy to do in our software. And then we're going to add the sign. Now, because my sign is sitting on dark fabric, you know, I used a light thread, like a cream color for the wrought iron hanger and the chain, and then I also just stayed with that for the sign itself. Now, the sign does feature an oval that is a fill stitch. You could stitch that in one color. It has a scallop trim that could be another color, and then it has an inner frame that could be another color yet. So you have lots of flexibility there, lots of flexibility. And then the last thing you'll do, of course, is to cover the whole block with backing fabric, right sides together, and stitch. And then you will have your finished quilt block. Now, this is how I finish my back. I put 2 short lengths of ribbon that I hand sew to the back. Well, I did that once, truth be told, right to the quilt shop. And that's how it hangs on my, my arch frame. All right, so the awning. I have we get in customer service, we do get questions about the awning. So the 7x12 and the 5x7 awnings are a little different. So let's look at the 7x12. I hooped cutaway stabilizer, and it's a medium weight. So it has some it has some body to it because I want that in my awning. And then the first color will be a placement guide. And then I'm going to place a piece of awning fabric right side up over that placement guide. And then the next color is just a little placement mark that it stitches. And that's where I place the fold of my length of ribbon on that placement guide. And then stitching that, the next step, it stitches a horizontal line right across that ribbon. Well, it's horizontal across the hoop in that direction so that it goes, you know, kind of up the middle of the ribbon and really holds it in place. And then we just add our second piece of fabric, our back. This is actually the front of the awning, right sides together in the hoop, and stitch the final color. And that is the shape of the awning and the scallops and so forth. And so let me see. Amy Erickson says, how is the attic hidden? Well, Amy, I don't make the attic. Our friends here and all of you, and you too could do this, Amy. The idea is you take my embroidery design, my small town charm that I provide to you, and then you know, go off in a new direction and just start creating on your own. So that's what our friend Judy Whitaker had done. She created the attic. She took my awning, and instead of having it just attach and sit on top of the frame, she made it, you know, another whole hooping, which maybe she used a bigger hoop, I don't know, and made another whole hooping and then added her awning on top. So that's the freedom for you to do. And you can, you know, if you go to Facebook and you search hashtag Dime Sew Along, you will find all the images that I'm sharing here. And so if you were to click on some of them, like Judy Whitaker often shows a little bit more details than I show you here. In fact, last month she even had a video. So, you know, it's not all about me, babe. It's all about you. I'm just providing you a canvas, and I want you to jump off and use all that software, all these machine features that we've been investing in and loving. So Judy Whitaker says she had to use 2 hoopings. Easy to do for sure, right? Yeah. And Delilah, you want a jewelry shop. You love the details. Thank you. A jewelry shop. Well, maybe, but jewelry is so teeny tiny, but we'll see, you know, just think about how teeny it would have to be in the window, right? That's one of my challenges. Okay. So once we get that awning out of the hoop, we're going to trim a 1/4 inch away from the top of the sewing. And the real, you know, tedious part is creating those scallops. So you're going to trim close to the scallop, but not so close that you get what we call a blowout. So about 1/8 of an inch, but in the peak of or the valley, whichever you prefer, the space between each scallop, I like to snip into each corner, kind of creating a little triangle. And that helps turn really nice. Oh, we have some great ideas. A dog grooming shop, a flower shop, a pet shop, an Italian restaurant. Well, you know, I have Irish heritage, and my father owned a very popular bar at the New Jersey Shore. And that's, you know, I grew up in a bar. But anyway, so I kind of wanted to do, you know, an Irish pub for March because of St. Patrick's Day. And I said that to my husband, and he just kind of gave me the slant eye, like, really? Not everybody really wants an Irish bar. I'm like, okay. So you got a dress shop. But I do eat a lot of Italian food, so that sounds like a good idea. Fire station. Oh, you're probably inspired by Kimberbell's beautiful new Main Street pillow. I think we'll leave the fire station to Kimberbell. She's done a fine, fine job. A hair shop, a baby shop. Is that where we buy like baby clothes? That would be kind of sweet. And a hardware shop. All kinds of fun things. See, the ideas just keep coming. You know, when someone said to me, well, how are you going to fill, you know, a whole year? Well, it's pretty easy. You just have to come up with one, and then everybody goes off. And Tracy Powell just said, yeah, it'd be great to have an Irish pub. Well, I missed where did she go? Yeah, it would be, Tracy. Wouldn't it be fun to have it was fun to grow up in an Irish bar. Got in a lot of trouble. That's a different program. We're not going there. But, you know, we don't have to do an Irish bar only in March, right? In fact, you know, they're fun all year round. All right, let's get back to what we're doing. So this is the trimming. It's going to look like this, and we're going to turn it right side out. And this is the time that where you're going to, you know, you're going to spend some time making sure this is done really, really nicely. So after we do that, I insert a pipe cleaner into the awning, and I'm going to push it down to the top of the scallops so that it rests right above all of those scallops, and it kind of gives the shape to the scallops. And here you can see I'm kind of smushing it down there, right? And then I take it to the machine and I actually stitch right along the edge of that pipe cleaner. Use a zipper foot and just stitch right along, and that'll keep it in place, aligned with the edge, you know, the top of the scallops, and that's what gives it some body. Now I can go and I can bend it and, you know, make that 3D effect, which is so fun. So here's our 5x7. Well, because it's a smaller canvas, it's just a dress shop, doesn't sell handbags also, but, you know, you can purchase, you can download all of these designs. It's all free. So even though I didn't include it here, you could still do that. Now, I will tell you that I think my, you know, my proportions might be a little off because, you know, my awning obscures part of the chandelier. And because this is a smaller design, in this design, you only get a portion of the chandelier instead of the whole chandelier like you did in the 7x12. So, but it works, right? It works. And let's take a look at the process for the 5x7. So here you can see I started it with kind of all beige, you know, which was, I was in a really sad mood then, I guess, not even the dark brown. So these are the three designs that you will use for the 5x7, the second story, the first story, and the awning. And believe it or not, when we make this design, you're going to start with the second story. So instead of building like we normally would in true construction from the foundation up, we're going to go from the roof down. Yeah. Oh, Kirsten says it looks like a secret chandelier. Yes, right? How fun. It does. Okay, so this is how you will hoop it. So the image on the left is just showing you that you want to leave an expanse of fabric, you know, below the second story so you have room for your first story. So don't make the mistake of hooping your fabric dead center and then you don't have any room for that second hooping. And the first color, of course, is a placement guide, which you will cover with your fabric. You'll stitch the details, and you'll trim it at the top and the sides. Now, I didn't trim that close at the bottom because it's going to be covered up with the next one. Let's see. Tracy Powell wants to know, is there a way to do the So Chic sign from this size to the big? I think the signs might be the same size. We can open that up in software and take a look. All right, let me get through these slides first. Okay, so, oh yeah, and so this is where I started to have problems. You can see my so chic is not so chic, right? And you're going to print a template of, oh, Sue Brown, great idea. She says print out a template of both levels to help get the design in the middle. That's a great idea. Definitely, you know, put them together on the fabric, and then that will tell you where to hoop. And in the download file, you do get both templates. I included that for you in case you didn't have software. I don't know why you wouldn't, especially when you can get our free embroidery toolshed software. Why is it so difficult to find the small town charm instructions month to month? I don't know, Tony, because it's all housed in one download. From what I understand, it is, I provide a zip file with all the embroidery designs, and the instructions are included, the templates and the color sequences. So they go live. I don't know if they're live right now, but if they're not, they will be fairly soon. And so maybe one of our team members can check that out and let me know if that's a fact. Okay, so now we're going to stitch the details on the on the first story and trim away that excess fabric and do the satin outline. And also same way that we will add the cement sidewalk. So you know, right sides together, making sure that at least a 1/4 inch of the sidewalk fabric will extend beyond the bottom of the wood fabric so that it will capture it in the seam allowance. And then we flip it open and stitch the detail. It looks a little weird here, but eventually that'll all be covered up with the wallpaper, which comes next. And it will stitch an outline. And then here I did use my Kingstar metallic. And Sharon Schroeder, she says they are live. She just downloaded hers. Sharon, would you tell us if everything's in there? And did you find all the instructions and all the embroidery designs in the folders that you just downloaded? Let us know. Okay. So, and then, you know, details, you're going to trim that wallpaper, and there's your beautiful dress. In this image, it doesn't appear to have that pretty motif, but it does. This is a simulated image because this is when I was struggling with my machine and so forth. So thanks for understanding. But super cute, right? Isn't that adorable? And then here I did stitch another one and it came out a little bit better. Now, the awning may be too long, too tall when you go to apply it to the dress shop. And when I say too tall, that means it may cover up too much of the dress or it may cover too much of the sign. So play with it a little bit. And as you lay it down, you can determine if you want to trim off more of the awning. And so now I have edge stitched mine after I applied it, but I found that if I aligned the raw edge of the awning with the just about above the satin outline, that it would do a fairly good job of covering up the seam and not obstructing all of the garment and the chandelier. So, but you know, you can take the time to do that. It's pretty fun. It's those final details that make it look so nice, don't you think? And then this is where where you really get that 3D effect. As you can see there on over here, this is where we fold back the wings of the awning or the return of the awning, and that's what gives it that 3D effect and allows it to lift away from the quilt block. Like on the image on the right, you can see the shadow of the awning that is cast on the wallpaper itself. So it truly is 3D, which is so fun. Isn't that fun? Okay. So here, let's go back to, Sam, maybe you just put that special up on the screen, and I'm going to see if I can open the design to show them some of those motifs in the software. So I just need to do a little bit of work here to find my embroidery design because I'm not in the right folder. And there we go, we're getting to the right location so that I want to show you. I'm going to open up the Dress Shop 7x12 and also the 5x7. I'll just do the downstairs so that we can take a look at that sign and size it. All right. So here we go. Well, of course, the sign's on the second story. So let's open that. And then I want to change. So here you'll see now that I am I'm in Perfect Embroidery Pro, and I want Perfect Embroidery Pro to be my default so that I can have all of the main features that I need. All right. So this is some of my best practices. I like to ungroup my embroidery design. Now this is in Perfect Embroidery Pro, the full-blown software. This is not in Embroidery Toolshed. So I have more features here than you would in the free program of Embroidery Toolshed. But the first thing I'm going to do is lock some of these features that I'm not interested in moving or touching. So what I do want to see is how big is this sign. So that sign measures, come on, measure, let's go to inches because I know a lot of you like to be an imperial. So the width is 1.85. And then if we go over to the 7x12, and we'll have to do those same steps. Sorry about that. They don't always come in grouped, but that's what we have right now. And then let's turn this on 3D and get rid of that grid so you can actually see. And that also measures 1.85. So it does not have it's the same size in both the 5x7 and the 7x12. Now, if you have software, you can resize individual elements of these small town charms instead of just the whole design. Let's take a look at the motif that I used for the, what did I use it for? Help me. Okay, I used advanced stippling. And I used, which I think is supposed to say square diamonds, but there's a typo there. And I changed my settings to a long pattern of 25.0. I also changed the direction of the diamonds so that it was a horizontal angle and gives me that really pristine kind of large wallpaper look. Now, let's take a look at my dress. And this is embossed complex fill. So it's different than a standard. It's embossed and there are so many to choose from. I chose 102 and I changed that scale to 60% instead of having it its default, which was much larger and really overpowered the dress. It doesn't appear, I'm going to zoom in so you can get a better look. The dress itself, the top and the bottom, at first glance kind of look like the top embossing is larger than the bottom, but it's not. It's just because it's a larger space that it looks like it's a larger scale, but it's the same scale. But you could change that because it is two different sections, segments of the embroidery. Okay, now let's go over and look at that straw handbag. How cute is that? Oh my goodness, I love that. So let's select that. And this is our 111, which looks like bubbles, but when stitched out and, in that tan thread, to me, that just looked like a straw bag. I thought that was really, really, really fun. Okay, and let's see. Helen says she thinks the problem is trying to find the designs on the website, not the design itself. Yeah, well, so here is the link. Oh, and they're running it on the bottom. So if you go to our website and you search for small town charm, I believe you will come up with, you'll be presented with the page of all the different months. And right now we just have 3. So be patient with that and just go to our website and try to find it. And everything will be in that folder when you download it. Yeah. Arnell, you love the purses. Are they so cute? I know, I love the purses too. Years ago when I wrote my first handbag book with Nancy Zeman, it was we didn't do these little embroidered things, but I made a label for the inside of my handbag, and I had a little applique purse on it. And I remember Nancy just absolutely swooning. She thought that was so cute. And it really was. And I put my monogram inside that little applique purse, and it was tiny. It was really cute. I still have that purse, I'm sure. That's a problem, but anyway. Okay, so that was fun, huh? I can't wait to see your small town charms. I can't wait to see your dress shops. Oh, I can't wait to see the colors that you use, what you do in your attic. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see the awnings, or maybe you don't use an awning. You know, it's up to you, but it's really super fun. And I hope that you will give us a thumbs up if you like the dress, and give us a heart if you like the handbags. Oh, and Betty, you love having a monogram on that little purse. No reason. Hey, let's do it right now. So what I would do, Betty Coley, if I were doing that, I think what I would do is I would remove these stitches, right? I would just get rid of that, hit delete, and then I would go into my text, and I just type a word right in there. And I actually have this micro font up right now. And I'll do my initial, Z, my monogram, all three. And we put that right there and see how we like that. Now you definitely want to be in our micro fonts, because this is tiny, tiny space. So I can take a look and see how we like all of these different micro fonts. We can audition each one. I can tell you that Ball House is probably going to be the one that I like the most. And, because it's a small space, and you want to make sure that it's really legible. Oh, that one's not bad. That's not bad at all. And of course, you can, I think you can change the colors. I better not do all that here, but isn't that super fun? Isn't that just great? Is that over in properties? No, I don't know. So, but I'm going to put that back in. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how do we get back to the text tab? Well, we can click on the A, and that will take me right back to the text window. And I'm going to go back to Ball House and keep it there. And there's my bag. Isn't that adorable? So you could do one letter. So let's go ahead and get rid of, let's just do the E. And we could make that a little bit bigger. I mean, you could really have a lot of fun with this. This is one of the problems. And I don't actually like the E in Ball House, so let's do my last name, the R. And if I wanted, I could put a tiny little box around this. We have all these drawing tools. So we'll go in. I just drew that with our art tool. And then I'll click on convert to steel. I'll just take a little steel, and it's going to come in kind of big, 2.5, which is large for that, that tiny little bag, and I'll scale that down. And then I can take the R. Oh, well, see, that often happens. So what we do next is, with that selected, we go find that handbag and we lock it, right? So now when I click on there, I can't get that handbag, which is exactly what I want. I'm going to lock that wallpaper too. And then select all of that, use my alignment tools, align that R, ready to stitch. Isn't that fun? Don't you just love it? Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. Yeah. Okay, here's Ashley Jones. She's our rock star inspiration consultant who now lives in Key Largo, Florida, and I wish she was around the corner, but we're happy with that. She says, to find the small town charms, just go to DZGNS and click Designs and Projects, Free Designs. There's your path. There's your path, okay? And then Brenda, you say you see some good uses for variegated designs. Okay, let's take a look at one. Let's take this bag, change that color to our variegated thread, exquisite medley. And let's take this fun sunset, and there's your bag. How cute is that, right? Isn't that great? Oh, you could have so much fun with that all day long. How are you locking? Okay, Ms. Cobbler. I lock. So let's, I don't know. I can't make this bigger. Well, there we go. There's a little bit bigger. So look over in the right-hand corner, the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, right here where my cursor is hovering. See that that padlock? So if I click on that, I can no longer select that thing. And what I just locked was the scallop on the table. So I can no longer click that. I'll give you another best practice. Often what I'll do is I will select the entire design and I go to right click, view, and lock. And now everything is locked. And then when I only want to work on one item, like let's say my bag that I just changed the color on, that's the only thing that I can use. That's it. Everything else, see, I'm clicking and clicking and clicking and everything is locked. That's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want, because you don't want to mess it up, right? Now, what happens if you mess it up? Well, you have your undo arrow at the top of the screen. And let me move that screen down to make sure you can see it. I don't know what you see because I have some images here. I'm just going to move it all the way down so you can really see it. Here is the undo. So that will just undo, undo, undo. So that's one way to get out of trouble. Another way is to just close the design and do not save. So that works also. And if you, a good practice to do is when you open a design, you can, if you know you want to play with it and you want to edit and you're going to do a lot of changes, save it under a new name. Like, this is 7x12 dress shop. So add the digit 2 on the end. And then in that one, you can do whatever you want and you still have the original. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. When they get the design, will come to me in a download. Yes, you will get a link via an email. Let's see. Can you copy from one of the houses and paste it into the other house? Yes, you can. You sure can. So right now I have everything unlocked. So I'm going to select everything and view and unlock. And let's just go grab, yeah. See, that's one of the problems of unlocking, right? So let's just go grab this sign and take that over. So I just selected it and I did Control C for copy, and we'll go over into the dress, the 5x7, and then I can paste that right here. And it will come in, and then you can move it. You can right click and group this so that when you move it, it all stays together. So super fun, right? And I could resize this. I could, do whatever you want. Now, if you're really, really going to make this very, very large, change the lettering so that, you have other lettering. Okay. I think that's enough for today. Well, that was a lot of fun, and I really hope that you enjoyed the March door. Let's see. I was just looking on your website for the software. So you have a photo of one. Is there any details? So the software that I'm in is Perfect Embroidery Pro. We actually don't sell that direct, but we do have dealers all over the country. And if you go into our Inspired by Dime website, you can find a dealer. They'd be happy to show you. Can you please show a way to separate the chandelier to be able to have colored candlesticks and flame separate? Oh, Susan, my goodness. All right, let's do it. Let's go back over to the 7x12 dress shop. And I am going to just select the chandelier, and I will do Control copy. And then I'm going to do a new file and paste. And I'll get rid of that grid so that it's not so glaring. Now, we want to take a look at all the elements that are in here. Now, I can tell you when you do this, your pathing, let's watch our redraw, okay? Because you can see this has been digitized so that it stitches in a logical path, right? So as you see, it's going to do all that scroll. Here's the candlestick, and then it's going to do the flame, and, et cetera, et cetera. So Okay, so when we change colors, it may not be as logical as you thought, as you would like. So on those two, let's go ahead and change them to orange. And then these two will go and change to orange. And then our candlesticks. Now you have to be careful sometimes when you select some things, because here, let's just move it out and see what's underneath. All right, we have the whole thing, underlay and all. That's good. So let's go ahead and change them. And we'll pretend it's Christmas, and you got red candles. How do you like that? That's pretty cool, right? The software you turn into an embroidery file. I mean, you turn a photo into an embroidery file. That's Photo Stitch. Yeah. We don't have a lot of information on Photo Stitch, so I apologize for that, Michelle. But I'll keep that in mind as a topic for an upcoming event, or upcoming, say, Facebook Live subject. Okay, well, I think that's enough lessons for today. I think you have a lot of homework to do. I can't wait to see what y'all do on this Saturday at OML. Remember that Sue Brown, she does a great sew-along using these designs, and you can jump in and watch, and that's a free program also, so enjoy. And thank you so much for joining me today.